everyone! Welcome back to my vlog. This is Efren and today I am going to discuss to you about humans and the biodiversity crisis. So guys, are you ready? Today we will talk about humans and the biodiversity crisis. So these are the human activities that affects the environment or the biodiversity. It includes hunting and gathering, agriculture, industrial growth, and urban development. Hunting and gathering may have once caused extinctions of large animals, and agriculture often relies on the methods of the Green Revolution, which increased food supply, pesticide use, and monoculture use. Industrial growth and urban development have resulted in high standard of living and increased pollution. So we all know that Earth is a kind of island. So there are limited resources on Earth. So there are two types of resources, which is the renewable resources and the non-renewable resources. So nature must sustain the resources. Since the human population is rapidly growing, we have to know how to conserve those resources. So we as humans demands on air, water, land, and living things for us to survive. So we must protect these resources. So these are the examples of human activities that have an impact on the Earth's natural resources. These are hunting and gathering, agriculture, industry, and urban development. So recent study concluded that human activity uses as much energy as all of Earth's other multicellular species combined. Humans are the most influential in changing the environments of the planet. Yes, that's true. Hunting and gathering. Hunting and gathering has been the primary means of human survival for most of human history. Fishing, gathered seeds, fruits and nuts, and also hunting animals. And by that, the biodiversity will be affected if hunting too much. Early man or early human. So early man built dams. So they burn grasslands to encourage growth of certain plants. But it's not good to burning grasslands because it can affect the many species living in it. So some scientists hypothesize that humans are responsible for the mass extinctions of woolly mammoths, giant ground sloths, saber-toothed cats, cheetahs, zebras, and yaks. So in agriculture, early humans learned how plants grew, which were edible and which are good medicines. They began to plant those that were important near their settlements. So humans started farming or agriculturing 11,000 years ago. So with dependable food supply, people started living in the larger settlements, such as towns and cities. So domestication of animals over time, people started keeping herds of domesticated animals. Milk, meat, hides, wool, companionship perform work. Overgrazing changed grasslands ecosystems, eroded soils, large demand on water. Human population grew at an increasing rate. Now is the Green Revolution. By 1950s, food supply was straining. So Green Revolution is to increase food supply. Governments and scientists introduced new farming techniques to increase yields of crops such as rice, wheat, and corn. So relied on new, highly reproductive strains of crops. So monoculture, large fields plowed and planted with a single crop year after year. Irrigation, fertilization, and pesticides were relied to sustain the crops. Animal and human power was replaced with machine power. Within 20 years, Mexican farmers increased production of wheat 10 times. So industrial growth and urban development. Wastes from manufacturing and energy production have been poured into the air, water, and soil. And that reason, the environment will be polluted and many of the animals will be affected. So tied to high standard of living that we all enjoy. Tragedy of the commons resource is something that can be used to take care of an need. Yes, we have to know how to conserve those resources. So when an environment resource is owned by many people or no one, but no one is responsible for it, is called a common resource. For example, water. Air, water shared by many countries, but no one is responsible for it, right? So willing. If some countries attempt to protect whales, but others continue to hunt whales to extinction, what will eventually happen? So pollution. Wetlands such as swamps and estuaries can help to protect water supplies. Purifies water as it passes through both soil and rivers. Now we will talk about biodiversity. So what is biodiversity? Biodiversity or biological diversity is various lives on Earth at all its levels, such as genes, species, and ecosystems. However, at present, we were experiencing rapid loss of species and degradation of ecosystem. This is referred to as biodiversity crisis. But before that, let us provide a little background to the extinction timeline. The Earth's formation. The Earth was formed 4.5 billion years ago. Although its formation is subjected to debate, the most widely accepted theories include the Big Bang Theory, nebular hypothesis, religion, and others, which we will discussing today. Cambrian explosion. Approximately 541 million years ago, in the Cambrian period, probably all major of animals, phalia, started occurring into fossil record. It lasted about 13 to 25 million years ago and resulted in the divergence of most modern Metazoan phyla. Now the Ordovilian-Silurian extinction. It is a global extinction during the Permian age of Ordovician period and in the subsequent of the Redanian age of the Silurian period. That eliminates estimated 85% of all Ordovician species. And now the late Devonian extinction. It is a major extinction of Killwater event at the beginning of the last phase of the Devonian period. The Flaminian faunal stage, 19% of all families and 50% of all genera became extinct. A second distinct extinction, the Heisenberg effect, closed the Devonian period. And now the Permian-Triassic extinction. This event is characterized by the elimination of over 95% of all marine and 70% of all terrestrial species. In addition, our half of the taxonomic family is present at the time of this occurred. This ranked first as the most severe extinction in the timeline. Now the Triassic-Jurassic extinction. It occurred in the end of the Triassic period that resulted in the demise of 76% of all marine and terrestrial species and about 20% of all taxonomic families. Start at the end, and the Triassic extinction was the key moment that allowed dinosaurs to become the dominant land animals on Earth. Now the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction. It is a global extinction event that is responsible for eliminating of approximately 80% of all species of animals are very close to the boundary between the Cretaceous and Paleogene period. About 66 million years ago, the Cretaceous extinction was characterized by the elimination of many lines of animals that were important elements of the Mesozoic era, including nearly all the dinosaurs are many marine invertebrates. As of now, species are becoming extinct 100 times faster than they would without the human impact. Population of wild animals are more than half in 1970, while the human population has doubled. Only 5 times before in our planet's history has so many species and so much biodiversity, and it lost so quickly. The fifth Oswindi dinosaur were wiped out. That is why scientists call what is happening now the sixth mass extinction. Some even describe it as a biological annihilation. Human beings were the main cause of all this. We have deeply altered the environment by modifying their habitats, exploiting the species directly, changing biochemical cycles, and transferring species from one area to another. In addition to this, due to the industrialization, agriculture, and fossil fuel use, carbon dioxide in the air is at the highest level of million years at the same time. Destruction of other chemical cycle is turning seas and river into dead zone. So climate change already affects the world around us. Global warming is causing glaciers to melting. Sea levels rise, species doubled extinct, and severe weather events such as droughts, floods, and hurricanes. So what will happen to our planet? How can we save it? How are some possible solutions? These are the tips on how to save the planet. First is the biodiversity parks. Are places that help protect animals, especially endangered ones, from being hunted or killed. It helps stabilize the number certain species by protecting them and recreate their natural habitat. Number 2 is the ecologically reclaimed and restored habitats. Habitats loss is one of the leading factors of extinction and decline of biodiversity. Ecologically reclaimed and restored habitats has to restore and recreate the animals' natural habitat in order to create safe and natural place for them to live in. The solution 3 is less production of greenhouse gases. So production of greenhouse gases help deplete the quality of air around us. By listening this, the quality of the air can improve and help slow down climate change. Number 4 is the sustainable lifestyle. Helps reduce species extinction by undefeating the natural resources which animals both live and rely. Number 5 is be educated on wildlife and endangered species. Few years of unedited destruction, brute of the environment, we have managed to drive several species of animals to their extinction. That is why the utmost necessity is to be educated people, the next generation, about the importance of wildlife conservation. Number 6 is lessen ecological footprint. It is a current rate of consumption. We are absorbing 157% of natural resources of the planet. In order to preserve the remaining resources, it is crucial that we reduce our consumptions. So all these are helpful, and even with small actions through collective effort, we can save our planet. Save our planet. Before it's too late.